When I first was diagnosed, I was working in an interior design company. I thought it was going to be the best time of my life. I just graduated. I was going to get the perfect job. You know, I was going to start helping my mom out, you know, get my own place. And it's like everything crumbled at that point because I was not supposed to get ill. That wasn't in the plan.
The project was interrupted. I wasn't able to complete it as I originally intended and when I intended, because just trying to juggle feeling miserable and having a job was just kind of more than I could handle.
I couldn't continue my work because, I mean, I was so sick and so tired and so, oh my God, down. It was horrible. And I stayed with the Avon, but it got to a point that I couldn't even do the Avon. The body wouldn't let me function.
I'm going to have days where I'm not going to be able to work, good days and bad days. So I didn't want to do it to an employer, go to a job and then have to take days off to go to the hospital, go and visit my doctors, not knowing when I have a good or bad day.
Well, I'm my own boss and I have my own company and I teach singing. And I make my own hours. And if I had to show up for work, not feeling well, it would be absolutely impossible.
This is when I was interning at MTV, one of the best times in my life. Before anything really happened, before I experienced too much pain or anything. I can't let go of this.
I just think that we need a culture where it's okay to come out and say, hey, I've got this chronic condition, can you work with me? Especially now with telecommuting. I don't think people need to be physically in an office from 9 to 5.
There was a doctor that she went to and he said, well, why is she still trying to go to work? She shouldn't be working. So he told her to go to this doctor that was over there on...
He mentioned it one time. I didn't know he was actually going to apply for me. Then I got a letter. The letter basically said that I'm in the hospital so much that I should be on disability.
I think we have a problem also with our disability assistance policies, if you will. I mean, I think that you've got people who work in the Social Security offices, and if you're a contractor and you've broken an arm, then it's a no-brainer to get disability. But if you're somebody who has a chronic illness that they can't see or doesn't fit within their sort of like codes of what qualifies as a disability, and if you have some work experience or an education, believe it or not, that factors into it.
I was very fortunate because at the time, you know, I couldn't do anything, so I was still staying with my mom. I don't know what I would have done that year because I couldn't go to work. I didn't have disability, so if I had to worry about paying rent and paying for medication, I don't know what I would have done.
I had no medical insurance when I had those hand surgeries. And those surgeries cost $20,000. It took me so long to pay that off. In fact, I couldn't even pay it off. Basically, I had to make a deal with the hospital, you know, like a collection agency that the hospital had. They said, okay, pay us half and we'll leave you alone.
I have Medicare and Medicaid, so that pays for a lot of my expenses. I know I'm one of the few, lucky few, that has that. I know it can be rough because every week I have to get my prescriptions filled, and like every other week I'm at the hospital and there's lab fees because I always have tests done and blood work and x-rays. So I can imagine other people, it's going to be very expensive if they don't have proper insurance.
Doctors pay cash, medicine pay cash. Some doctors, they just send you a bill, but the medicine you need it right then and there. So you have to pay for it. There's nothing else you can do but pay for it.
Luckily, I got medical insurance before I was diagnosed with MS. And I pay a lot for it, but it doesn't cost as much as the treatment for MS does.
I had 3 credit cards at that time, and it maxed all of them out because of medicine.
My husband has medical insurance through his company. And I've heard stories about people actually losing their jobs when a dependent has a chronic illness. And I am trying to get up the courage to find out whether, I know that my husband wouldn't get fired, but I wouldn't want to put him in jeopardy in any way. But you see, my treatment costs $7,000 a month. So if, you know, if an employee marries somebody who has like a load of $7,000 a month, do they want to get rid of the employee? I mean, is it, you know, and so here I am paying a lot of money for my individual insurance to protect, you know, my husband's reputation.
That's the environment that we have, that's the expectation, and it's not really, it's not realistic, it's not feasible for a lot of people, but I'm hoping that this will help to change that.
So it's day 3 in Maine. I've edited about 5 sequences so far. I'm not entirely sure that I'm happy with any of them. And I'm feeling a little bit stressed out right now because as soon as I go back, which is just in a couple of days, classes start for me and my whole new life begins. And if I do not get this project completed, it is going to kill me. And I don't think I'll be able to focus on the next round of school and the next sort of set of goals that I made for myself if I have this nagging at me. So just a couple more days. Got the rest of the night to work on this, so hopefully I get something that I can bring home.